Hi, my name is Mrs. McIver, and I'm so excited because today we get to do science together. We're going to be learning about floating boats. We're going to be able to make them, and we're going to be able to learn about the science behind why it works. And I am so excited. So first, grab yourself a piece of paper and a pencil because I have some things to show you, and you can follow me. I hope you grabbed a piece of paper and a pencil or a marker because I want you to write this word down, buoyancy. Buoyancy is a really fancy word that means how well something floats or sinks, okay? So I started thinking, what are things that float and sink? Well, what I came up with is, light things float and heavy things sink. And I did a small mini experiment, and I took a cup of water, and you can feel free to do this with me or just watch what happens. Miss McIver got a cup of water, and I've got a leaf from outside, okay, and it's already kind of wet, okay. This leaf is very light, and I think it will float. And it does. It stays on top of the water. That's what it means to float. I've got this coin, and I think this is heavy. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the water, and I think it's going to sink. Let's see what happens. It went all the way to the bottom of my cup right away. It sunk. So this makes sense to me. Light things float, and heavy things sink. But then, the more I thought about it, what about boats? Boats are pretty heavy. They're made out of things like wood, right? Why do boats float? Why do these boats float? And usually there's people on the boat. Hi. Why do they float? I wonder. So Miss McIver started looking up some more things about why would a boat float. So I started thinking, why do these boats float? Well, I found out that density has a big part of it. Okay, so if you have a piece of paper, I want you to write this down. Okay, density is the amount of mass something has related to its volume, or the amount of stuff inside of it that something has related to its size. Miss McIver really thought about this because density is kind of hard to understand. So I was thinking, what could be an example of something that has a lot of stuff in it, but is kind of tiny or small, okay? Or something that has not a lot of stuff in it that is small. That's the same size. So Miss McIver started thinking, what could be a good example to explain the word density, okay? And I realized that if you have two balls and you are going to drop them in the ocean or in a lake, okay, and one ball was a bowling ball and one ball was a basketball. Let's think about their density of each ball. One ball is a bowling ball, and of course one's heavier than the other, but this ball has a lot of stuff in it, and this ball has a lot of air. So if you were to throw both of these balls into the water, the bowling ball would go right straight to the bottom, just like our coin did in our cup experiment, and our basketball would float because the particles on the inside are far apart, or it is filled with air. Okay, the stuff that is in it is very light. So I was thinking, how could we show this? Well, I've got a tray filled with water, and I got two spoons. One is a metal spoon, and the other is a plastic spoon. Okay, and I'm going to see which one sinks and which one floats. I'm going to start with our middle spoon. Whoa. It sunk. It even made a noise. It went all the way to the bottom. That one sunk. Let's see our plastic spoon. That one's floating. I can see it right at the top of the water. It's floating. Okay, so if we looked at our spoons with a microscope, microscope and we looked at the stuff that's inside our spoons, this is what we would see. So everything in this world is made out of particles. And here I have our plastic spoon and our metal spoon. So if everything has particles, we have to realize how close are these particles? Are they close together or are they far apart? And this is, if they're far apart, they're going to be less dense. And if they're less dense, they will be able to float. Okay, and that's a lot of information. Basically, if we looked inside of these two spoons, the plastic spoon would have particles that would be floating around inside of it like this. They would look like this. Okay? The metal spoon would have particles, but the particles would be close together. They would be grouped together. Okay? Because they're grouped together, that means they're more dense. They're heavier. This object is heavier because the particles are close together, like they're hugging each other. Okay, so this is important. This is something that we need to remember when we are trying to make boats that float. Now, like I was saying with the spoons, everything has particles. Okay, every single thing in the world has tiny little particles. Some are together and some are far apart. Okay, so that means, well, that water has particles too. Water is made out of particles. Okay, and so if you have a boat, these particles make room for the boat. And this boat floats because there are less particles in the boat than there are in the water. The water has a lot more particles. Okay, so if you have a big thing of water, like an ocean, then you can have a big old cruise ship and your family can go on it and you are happy because you know why your boat floats. Ooh, that was a lot of writing. That was a lot of information. Woo-hoo! But that's okay because all that information is going to be super helpful to make the best boat possible. Okay, so first I've got to tell you about the materials or the things that we need to make this experiment happen. Okay, first, and I'm going to put this list in a slide so you can pause the video and really look at what you need, but I'm going to show you what you're going to need. First thing is aluminum foil. Now, I think your bag came with this material, and you're going to go ahead and be very gentle with it and put it to the side because you're going to need aluminum foil. Then you're going to need a container. Miss McIver's container looks like this, and you're going to need to fill it with water. Okay, so I would suggest that you try to find your biggest container. Miss McIver had kind of a medium-sized container. And that's okay, because that's what I had at my house. Okay, and so, but if you have a really big container, I would use a big container of water. Okay, because like we learned, the more water you have, the better chance your boat will float. Okay, so I would do that. And you're going to fill it up with water. And then the next thing is you're going to see if your boat floats, but also how many things you can put in your boat and how strong your boat is. Okay, your boat is going to be pushing down, and the gravity of your boat is going to go down, but then the force of the water is going to go up, and so you're going to see how strong your boat is, and I'm so excited for that part. Okay, so you can use anything that's the same size, so like a group of pennies. Miss McIver didn't have pennies, so she had quarters. So she has lots of quarters that she's going to place inside the boat. If you don't have coins, because some of you might not have coins at home, you can use Legos. You can use little bitty erasers. You can use marbles. You can use hatchables. You can use any kind of small thing to fit in your boat to try this out. So let me put all the materials up on a slide, and you can pause it to make sure you've got everything you need. All right, let's get ready to do this experiment. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to place the water in your container. Miss McIver already kind of showed you. She already did this step. That would be the first step, is to put water in your container. And I would leave a little bit of space. Don't fill it all the way to the tippy top. Leave a little bit of space so you can put things in there safely and so it doesn't splash around. Then you're going to have to find a spot that your mom says it's okay that might get a little bit wet. Okay, because we are dealing with water. We're not dealing with heavy chemicals, but water sometimes can destroy things like books or make things a little messy. Okay, so you're going to do step 2 is find a place where you can work that it is okay to get a little bit wet. Okay, and then you've got your group of things, and I want you to put them in a cup or somewhere else on the side and not mess with them now. So you're going to put them to the side. That's your next step, is organize your space. Then you're going to get this, and you're going to have to fold it to do a boat. You're like, what? I'm going to have to make this into a boat. This is where we've got our brains, our creativity, to try to think of a way to make this into a boat that floats, okay? That is strong. Wow. Okay, so I would suggest that parents would pause the video and you try as many designs as you can to try to see if this works. So I would pause the video right now. Now I'm going to show you how Miss McIver folded her boat. So I'm thinking I want to make the boat have lots of air on the inside as much as possible because I want it to be not very dense, okay? So I don't want it to be heavy. So what Miss McIver is going to do is she is going to make a paper boat that looks like a big old tray. So I'm going to fold it. We're going to see if it works. Hopefully it works. Okay, and we're going to fold the sides in to make sure it can hold my coins. Now, remember at home, it might not be coins. It might be something you found like Legos or beans. Beans are a good thing to use because my mom always has beans in the pantry, uncooked beans. So this is my boat. Okay, so you can do it like Miss McIver, or maybe you did it a better way. Okay, so let me show you how it's going to be in the water. All right, so you've got this thing of water, container of water, and you've got your boat. So I kind of already did that step. I want you to place your boat into your body of water. Okay, so if your boat floats, good job. You did a great design, and you're an engineer. You figured out how to make a boat out of a piece of aluminum foil and how to make it float. So that's pretty great. The next thing that you have to do, or you get to do, to see how your boat, how strong it is, you're going to get your things that you picked out. So I picked out coins, and you're going to see how many things your boat can hold before it sinks. So I'm thinking about the particles, and I'm going to place my things far apart so they're not close together, because I saw that the metal spoon had particles that were close together, and the metal spoon sunk. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put my coins far apart. Wow, it can hold 2 coins so far. That's pretty awesome. I'm going to keep going and see how many coins does it take for my boat to sink. Wow, I have lots of coins. Let's see. Oh man, as my coins are getting closer together, I'm getting more and more nervous that my boat's going to sink. We'll see. Whoa. Wow, I could keep going if I had more coins. Let's see if I can find some more coins. Whoa. So I want you to do this at home. I was so excited to see my boat and how It held all those coins. I can't wait to see pictures of your boat and find out how your boat did in the water. Now I'm going to show you how to get on a book on Mayan that explains more of the science behind how your boat. Hi! So I'm going to show you how to find Mayan and how to get to that book that I was talking about. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Moore School Public School website and you're going to scroll down until you find this icon right here that says Clever. You're going to press it. And then if your student has a badge, you need to scan it to get on his or her Clever page. Then once you're on the Clever page, you're going to hit this app called Mayan. Then you're going to look, you're actually trying to find this book right here. It's called Captain Kidd's Crew, Experiments with Sinking and Floating. So I'm going to search Captain Kidd's, ooh, I misspelled Captain Kidd's Crew Experiments. Sinking and Floating. And then I'm going to press, and it's going to pop up that book. If you, for some reason, it doesn't pop up, you're looking for a book and it has a lot of other books, you're going to be looking for the book that has the boat and the pirate ship and that bird. And then you're going to hit continue book. Now, the great thing about Mayan is it reads it to you. And that's going to be great for your kids that are still learning to read. All right. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me and learning about floating boats. Bye.